back again, another emoji. Oh man, this is legs. Yeah, this is pretty annoying, but well, I basically decided to continue. Perhaps it's even though, yeah, obviously the emoji will not be synchronized with the voice. Besides, I basically already tried to do several recording previously in this intentional scheduled free time, which is supposed to be longer, and I basically supposed to be going to a dedicated place that I want to focus on personal productivity things, but I decided to not again to do it again. Although, yeah, the last time that I basically not tried to do it, I eventually didn't do anything that seems to be more worthy, perhaps. Besides, there is still more tasks in my main job of tasks as usual, just like the last time that I basically tried not to do that. Despite, yeah, for some reason I'm just feels quite lazy for some reason, maybe because I don't know. I basically wanted to have more income, much more income, much bigger income in a very fast time, even though, yeah, it is obviously impossible because most people basically try to do that, and they basically seems to be try to gamble with their own risks. So yeah, obviously it's not because the gamble is most likely you're gonna be lose, but at least it's just feel guilty to basically have a lot of money in a very short period of time while the others is definitely losing theirs. So that's the reason why I obviously still wanted to have a lot of money from a good thing, obviously. So that's the reason why at some point I always try not to expect too much with the things that I work on, especially when most likely it is definitely not goes the way that I expected. Besides, it also seems to be pretty much impossible to fulfill my dreams with my current job, current main job of that. So that's the reason why I basically always try to be grateful for what I have, because at some point we basically need to look into the more unfortunate people instead of just focus on more fortunate person that's always have more and more that we definitely cannot be satisfied with unless you are the richest people in this world, perhaps, which is definitely pretty rare, almost impossible again, obviously, because yeah, it's just pretty unknown the reason why the god just making them as the richest people, perhaps, or maybe they just supposed to be the poorest people in the afterlife. I don't even know, but yeah, the more money that we will eventually got, the more responsibilities that we should take in the hereafter life. So that's the reason why at some point many unfortunate people out there will still kind of like be happy and basically try to be grateful with their life, because maybe they always believe that they will definitely have more fortunate life in the hereafter life. I basically already tried to talk about this many times, and it's basically not really interesting, perhaps, maybe because it's already a common thing that's or in obvious things that, but yeah, if it is, I just try to remind over and over again. If it is not really necessary, then at least I basically try to remind myself to be more motivated, always. hopefully, because for some reason, the reason why I basically try to do a content, it's no longer try to expect the result as well, like my major of tasks. Even though yeah, it's definitely much worse because I already started content creation for so long time ago without ever experience any kind of results that basically can make me satisfied. So the only thing that can make me satisfied is obviously only the time that I basically try to do that, or at least have tried to do that without, yeah, in order to not regret for not do for not doing those kind of things in the past. That's basically, obviously, we are always feel regret about not doing something in the past, and I basically already miss a lot of opportunity that I may have in the past. But yeah, it's okay, since the future is always been unpredictable, and especially to the things that define or determine that we may be more fortunate, or it is gonna be the same, or it's gonna be more unfortunate, which is obviously we are always try to avoid, and pray that we can have always a better life in the future. Also, until when we are finally gone from this world, that we finally have a better, we still keep a better life, even though yeah, it's cannot be considered a life, but at least we experience a better things than the last time that we ever experienced before we finally gone from this world. So yeah, so from the last time that I basically tried to do a live stream, I think I already tried to explain a lot of things, I guess, even though the volume that I basically try to use is eventually too small, especially when I try to compare to previous live stream that I ever tried to record. But yeah, it's okay, since it's technically still able to be increase the volume, but yeah, it's definitely not consistent enough, because sometimes the best thing that we can do is basically make the sound is as common as possible, the sound volume as common as possible, so that people don't have to increase or decrease their volume every time they basically switch the content. That yeah, that's definitely pretty annoying to suddenly heard a very loud content and then changing into a very quiet content. So previously I already tried to do a good behavior recording again, finally, after I don't know how many time that I haven't tried to do that. Maybe it's definitely longer than the last time that I basically tried to go into the dedicated place that I want to focus on personal productivity things, because I just don't know why I only try to do a good behavior after I basically do the bad one instead, which obviously not recording, but at least it's definitely represent what I basically have tried to practice over and over again in the past, when I'm still very motivated to have a good behavior recording over and over again. Yeah, for some reason I basically always try to provide a different things, especially when it seems to be already pretty much repetitive, because I obviously not only try to give every iteration a different quality, but also a different type of microphone, perhaps, that I basically try to use, or at least a different type of video footage, because obviously I always try to do it just a plain emoji, and also there is actually a view to the things that I basically try to read, or even I basically try to record that's never been recorded before, because there always be some missing recording that probably never be implemented previously on certain type of recording. I don't know what kind of things that I just talk about. It's basically pretty abstract, and probably only I can understand what I basically try to say after I just recently say that. So if I basically try to hear this content again in the future or far away in the future, I obviously no longer exactly remember perhaps what I basically try to talk about during this time. But yeah, it's okay, since it's only for historical purposes, and I basically try to keep as privacy as possible. So I basically try to explain it as general as possible. Maybe some people may relate or try to imagine what kind of things that I basically try to talk about in here. But yeah, it's just pretty much the, I don't know, the exact representation or in general, from a general point of view. I don't know how to explain about this, but yeah, well. So yeah, there is actually some recent updates from the platform that I always try to use for live stream the gaming footage directly without ever to record and edit. And yeah, it turns out there is some limits that I can store on my account. So I basically already breached more than twice of the limit, and it's definitely takes time for me to delay it. But at least I basically try to create another channel on the YouTube that's supposed to be no limit. Hopefully everything works without having to waste a lot of storage on my devices in order to edit it. A very long live stream, almost 2 hours, I guess, the longest one, or even more than that, which is obviously gonna waste a lot of time. I basically try to create the emoji footage. So right now I basically only try to re-upload into a different platform just for the backup purposes. But yeah, I obviously try to use a new dedicated channel to do so, because yeah, for some reason I always wanted for my main channel to be as consistent as possible in terms of providing gaming footage. So I think most of the newest gaming footage I basically never try to upload without any emoji footage inside the video. So yeah, I think the last time non-emoji video that I basically try to record is probably unnecessary at all. Maybe just some of my old video blog when I basically still a child, that I obviously cannot remember it, but yeah, well. Or maybe some unlisted video for several kind of competition, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, it's already 14 minutes, and I basically try to start this live stream when the iPhone battery is still 100%. So I basically able to create this live stream endlessly, but I'm not sure whether I will try to do this until it's finally reach around 80% of battery percentage. So yeah, I basically just recently got some information on a topic that I definitely will need to write down on my notes as usual from the mandatory weekly visit into the mandatory places. And yeah, I basically try to go there a little bit late again, which is because I need to do some network call first. Then yeah, I obviously cannot prevent it, obviously, because yeah, that's the beauty of able to work at any place that you want. You basically feel comfortable to do a network call, obviously, because I just can imagine, yeah, during my old times when I basically have a mandatory things to be stay in the specific place only. I do will have need to do this kind of thing, and it's basically getting bigger. But at least I don't know whether I will eventually come home if I basically experience this kind of things again in the future. But at least it's definitely different when I basically probably still in the awkward situation that I obviously cannot go home early just to do a network call, because yeah, the place that I basically need to be is also not really near with the most comfortable place that I can do with the most comfortable place that I want to do a network call. But yeah, at least there is always, I don't know, a probability perhaps to make me more convenient, or maybe it's just some, I don't know, consciousness, subconsciousness, that it's definitely pretty much different when we basically forced to be in a specific place unless it is really urgent, perhaps. I don't know what else that I basically want to talk about. So the topic that I just heard is probably just the meaning about how we basically need to be patient in our life, perhaps, especially when we need to crush our desires for not doing something that seems to be bad things. That's definitely pretty hard to be avoided, but yeah, it's definitely can be a little bit easier if we try to do it, I don't know, maybe with the faith, perhaps. Because yeah, obviously, just like when we are trying to do a fasting, sometimes it's just all about patience. I don't know, it's just a little bit hard to be explained, but yeah, that's, I think that's the main thing that was tried to be explained. And I don't know what else that I basically want to talk about, because yeah, I think several days ago, the last time that I basically tried to create a live stream is obviously before I go into the villa to work at a specific place, only quite far from the city center, which is obviously not a very long time that I basically need to be there as well, because most likely it's just for fun, obviously. But yeah, at the time that I basically arrive at the location, I almost got bitten by the dog, the two big, quite big dog, and it's basically make me a little bit traumatized, especially when I remember that I almost got bitten when I still a child. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I basically try to be patient and try to be accepting my fate, and they eventually go away as well, because I didn't run. Maybe I do wanted to implement, I don't know, crunch, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be worth it. It's make me beaten. It's gonna bite my hand instead if I basically try to crunch, not making them go away. I guess I don't know whether it is a myth or it is a real thing to make a dog go away. I don't know, but yeah, just try to be forget about all of those things. And there's not really many unique things, just some usual working at the villa. So that's the most unique things or unforgettable things in the life, perhaps, even though yeah, it's basically okay, and I basically don't feel anything, because yeah, it's just happened so fast, but it seems to be happened so long at every second counts, because yeah, they're always barking over and over again until they eventually go away. But well, it's already finished, and probably I will go into a different villa again still several months later. I don't know whether it is gonna be exist or it is gonna be a different activity that I eventually don't involve, because for some reason I'm basically quite lazy if it is has a lot of people, even though I do love talking to people. But yeah, I'm just not really comfortable. If it is a lot of people, then I obviously cannot talk to every single of them as well. So, especially when I just know them, perhaps, or I basically never know them before. I think that's all, because yeah, the last time that I basically tried to do a live stream is 3 days ago. So the unique things is 2 days ago. So yesterday, I think there is no unique things, and in these days, there's no unique things except just some topic from a mandatory visit. And yeah, I think that's all that I can say. Thank you.